Welcome to our meeting. And to start off with, we got a special guest speaker. We got Judge Executive Element from Garrett County. He's going to shine some light, give us some specialty about everything he can.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, and thank you to the board for allowing me to come up and speak on behalf of Garrett County. This is my first term into office. I've been in office 3.5 years. Give you a little background on me. I come from the private sector, own several companies in Central Kentucky, one in Florida. I was in the construction business. Chose to get out of that and get into politics. I didn't agree with some things that was going on in our county, so I'm one of those that if I choose to open my mouth, I choose to do something about it. So, I'll go through a few things with you. When we first come in, especially in Garrett County, a lot of you know, we're surrounded by Madison County, Danville, Jessamine County. We sit right in the middle, so it's a little tough on us when we talk about industry and stuff coming into Garrett County, but that was one of our main focuses going into this administration. How do we do a better job of drawing those people in? So, when we first started, we seen that we was losing residents, we was losing business because of that. So that was a real drive. When we did our first budget, a lot of you may not know how the system works. We come in January. We worked 6 months off the previous administration budget. So when we sat down to do our first budget, we was hurt the whole county. Revenues was down. Occupational tax was down. So we didn't have no choice. We had to make some changes. So, I'm happy to say 3.5 years later, we just passed our second budget. The first year we come in, the first budget we wrote over 1.6 million to start off the year, which not a lot of money. A lot of our expenses are up front. Happy to say this year we're rolling over $9.2 million to start off the year. So in 3.5 years, we made a lot of changes. We've done a long way. So I'm proud of it. It wasn't me, it was the court, it was my administration. So, going back, I'll speak current, and then I'll go back to say some of the stuff that we brought in. Legislation session was really big for Garrett County this year. We got awarded $6.5 million. $5 million of that is going to Ephraim McDowell when they purchase land. They're going to build a standalone facility, emergency room in Garrett County. But part of the deal is they got to get the land under contract before we release the money to them. So that's a big deal. And then we got $1.5 million for economic growth, water and sewer, to do some infrastructure like that. We are currently in the process of building 2 parks for our kids. We're going to have playgrounds, pavilion, walking areas. So we have come a long ways on that end. Some of the big investments, when we look at that, Marksbury's a big outfit in Garrett County, one of the biggest employees, meat packing. They just did a big expansion, a 10,000 square foot expansion. They grew from 90 employees to about 190 now. So that is, one of our biggest employees starting out. What was the Bluegrass Bottling Company? Of course, you don't know the whole bourbon spike. We had a company out of Texas that come in and bought some land, built a really nice facility. It didn't work out, but now Buffalo Trace has actually acquired the debt on that, going through the process to open that back up. It'd be more like a satellite facility, special brews, stuff like that. They will build out the rig houses for storage and stuff like that. So we're excited about that. Bluegrass Bottling is a branch off that. They do more of the bottling system for all the bourbon companies. They employ about 100 people. We actually recruited them out of Lincoln County, our surrounding county. So they built a facility there, about 100 acres. They're up and going. All the infrastructure's there. Another thing on the bourbon, the barrel company, it's more of a whiskey storage thing. So that's a lot of stuff that we're seeing. Allison Braces, they employ about 100 employees on that end of it. One of the big things that we've seen, especially on the state level, is legislators, they're pushing for a regional thing where counties join in. Garrett County don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the utilities. Water's an issue, so that's where we struggle. So we took advantage of that. We actually started the RGL. That's Rock Castle Garrett Lincoln. We got $65 million from the state to purchase 1,400 acres in Rock Castle. I was in Washington DC about 3 weeks ago, meeting with some senators and stuff to try to get some more money. We're looking to team up with, Danville, Water and run a water line from Danville that comes through Lincoln and goes to Rock Castle. And where that helps Gary County, the city of Lancaster actually, or Crowd Orchard, they supply them with water. So therefore, when this new pipeline goes through, it can actually take some burden off of Lancaster to supply us in the county more water. So that'll help us and we still get that rate, the city of Lancaster don't lose revenue on that. So that'll help us in the county as far as growing. Jeff Van Hook's our economic developer on RGL. We have met with several big companies, as far as coming and locating there. I can't get into a lot of it because I'm not allowed to talk about it, but, we're looking more on the scale of more of a Toyota or a manufacturer like that, that really changes the whole region. It's not Rock Castle, Lincoln, Garrett, it's Madison County, it's every surrounding county. I mean, that's going to change the whole landscape of everything around. So that's a really big project. We're really excited about it. Not only that, the way we split it up. So 25% goes to Gary County, 25% goes to Lincoln, 25 to Rock Castle, and then we keep 25% in the RGL for operational funds. So that's how that'd be structured. And really what we see on that end, we look more of the smaller companies that branch off from that big facility, which we can handle. Gary County, we can't handle the 500 employee to the 1,000 employee facility. We can't do it. I mean, it's not realistic. So what we're out doing is recruiting 100, 200 employee facilities. I mean, we got to know our limits and that fits us. So we'll see that. I don't think the Walmarts or the Tractor Supplies will be coming to Gary County by any means off that, but it still helps us. And even when you look at the housing, state of Kentucky's in a housing shortage. That's one thing that we have really kicked off. We've seen a huge, everybody wants to move south. Jasmine County's overflowing, into Garrett County. So we got 5 active subdivisions going right now. As far as our role on, property values and stuff, we're over $1.1 billion. So, I mean, we've seen a huge influx in people. Not only that, I mean, Garrett County, the land's cheaper, the houses are cheaper. So, we give that, a lot of people refer to us as a bedroom community. We're trying to change that, but it's cheaper to live, lower taxes. And going back to my state too, for 3 years, we've lowered the county tax rate and still got to the point that we're at. So, and to me, that's a big deal. A lot of people don't look at that, but I mean, that's our job. We're there to make sure that taxpayer money getting spent the way it's supposed to. And I also am a big believer that if you know where the money's being spent, then you can correct it and make sure it's spent in the right places. So, and not only that, that provides a better opportunity to offer better services. You don't cut services, you offer better services. So really proud on that. Some of the other, we have, of course, if y'all are familiar with downtown Lancaster, it's older buildings. It's beautiful, but it's older buildings, and we've had some issues with some of the investors coming in and buy stuff. It gets run down, but we have a gentleman, I won't take his name, but he's bought up to, he bought the old mill back years ago. They used to make their own flour mill and all that. So he bought that, restoring that. He's actually bought a building on the square. He's opened up a bakery and a coffee shop. Gonna have an Airbnb, like executive suites in the top of it. So, we're driving that industry too. And that's a big thing. I mean, we got a lot of good people and you're seeing that money flow back. What we've seen in the beginning was some of your big investors that have been successful in business, they was leaving Gary County because the opportunity wasn't there. But now we see them coming back and they're investing in our youth and in the city, in the county as a whole. We was just speaking, on the school system. We got a new high school, but we didn't have a football field. They didn't have baseball fields. They still played at the middle school. So how was that when we was trying to recruit businesses? And that's a big deal with me on education. When you recruit businesses, first thing I want to show them is our education part of it. Because you're getting families to bring move their family to Garrett County, we need to have something to show for it to offer for them. So we built new facilities, state-of-the-art football, sports facilities and all that, but we're also getting into the line where, more of the vocational part of it, that's my next big push is to go that route, and the school system's fully on board. And I think the overall thing that I can say is that now we work as a team. It's not the school system, it's not the city of Lancaster, it's not the Garrett District Court. We see this as one. And I think we all should. Not even, a lot of y'all are business owners, and they tell you, yes, you're at the top of the food chain here, but your employees work right. So, I mean, it's gotta be, you all gotta be together and work together on that. So I skipped a lot of stuff there. But we do, restaurants. You spoke about restaurants. We're seeing a lot of mom and pop restaurants pop up. Had 3 new ones go in, Peas and Crows. I'll take you next time you come. But we've had a lot of that's popped up. I am actively trying to recruit some of the more fast food chains, to come in, more of the Hardee's and stuff, but it's a little harder. It's a little harder. One big thing, city of Lancaster, it's hard to get big trucks and stuff too. So when I first come in, we went to Frankfurt. We had finally got fully funded the 27 bypass. It's all the money funded there. So they've already got the design laid out, starting to buy right of ways now. So we look in the next 5 years to see construction on that end of it, which will open us up to a whole new, development on that and allow the city to grow. And that's what I always told the city members. A lot of people look at, well, the city doing this, county doing that. The county only flourishes, the city flourishes. That works. I mean, you can't be against each other. So, we got a good relationship there, and the bypass will make a huge difference. You can't get big trucks, tractor trailers. They can't get to the center of the square. You come down there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you got school traffic backed up. I mean, it's horrible. So that will open up so much for us. So we're excited about that, but I think the future's bright. I did file a run for a second term. I'm unopposed. I'll tell y'all, this is no career for me. I'm no politician. I don't want to be. So hopefully this first 4 years, we cleaned up the mess. Next 4 years, we'll push this county forward, and I hope I can walk away from it, to be honest with you. And I hope we set it up for good people to come in behind us. And that when they come in, they don't have to take 10 steps back. They can keep pushing forward. So that's my goal here. I'm no politician, don't want to be, don't have no desire to be honest with you. So I just want Garrett County to flourish and be good. So thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Years ago, I was told I said it the wrong way. It's not Lancaster. How you say it?
Lancaster. Well, that's what you have to do about my last name. A lot of people say Eleanor. They try to throw that R in there, it's slang. But I appreciate it, and I welcome all y'all to Garrett County anytime. Stop there at the square, and I'm right at the courthouse. My door is always open. Unfortunately, I'm there 7 days a week, so, but I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Information. I've been there a couple of times, in recent times, maybe really got it out.
Well, like, it's exciting to know, like, because whenever he was talking about the bakery and stuff, we can reach out to him, find out if we can get little apprenticeships and internships and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Last I remember, they had an electrical program there too, in the vocational thing he was talking about. The vocational schools were, having more offerings of all different types.
Who's their tech school over there, John?
I want to say there's
It's in Lincoln,
yeah,
Lincoln County.
I remember their high school and I've seen some of their, I want to say I saw some electrical program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now on to the other business, correct? Unless somebody has other. Okay. We have the approval of the minutes from our March 11th, which is included in your packet. I want everybody to take a moment, check it out. If there's any questions, comments, hope you've already had some time to read through. Open up for any questions or comments about the minutes. Hearing nobody say anything, now we're gonna look for a motion to approve those minutes.
John, I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second? Second. Who's that?
Micah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mike. Assuming no more discussion, all in favor, say aye or wave at the camera. Aye. Thank you. That motion moves forward. And now, on to our next item, approval of financial report we got from April. Colin's got some information to share with us. Got kind of information in the packet.
Sir John, on the screen, I'm right over your shoulder, so I'll get everybody to turn to page 5. The April finance report begins. I've got the overall budget at the end of April was at 74% expended. We were at 69% at the same time in the prior year. Our admin costs came in at 77% compared to 79% at the same time in the prior year. Our adult program expenditures came in at 87%, compared to 78% at the same time in the prior year. Dislocated worker program expenses were at 54% expended, compared to 50% in the prior year. Our youth program had been spent about 79% compared to 65% at the same time in the prior year. And then our youth program work experience requirements, we are at 177,000 and some change. We're getting very close to wrapping that up. And then at the bottom, you can see that our March April invoice was received in April, paid early in May. And then our April invoice is in the approval process right this minute. Expecting to submit tomorrow, between tomorrow and Friday, and get them paid that next week. So if anybody has any questions about that first page here, please let me know.
No one speaking up, so. If it's well.
I'll move on. Okay. And then just as you thumb through, you'll just see, you know, there, that next page on 6 is our budget. We got our admin, we have our adult. This is the breakdown of all those programs, the adult, the dislocated worker. And then we do have the National Dislocated Worker Grant that we have, that $2 million we received from the Department of Labor. You can see our current status on that. Now, you know, this shows $571,000 is our budget, but that's just for this year. That carries over into next year as well. So if we don't spend all that this year, we're fine. The same thing with the putting Young Kentuckians first. We're nearly finished wrapping up those funds. You can see the status on that as well. And then we also have the Kentucky Storm Grant that we received from this. That's on page 12. And then our youth is page 13. And then 14 and 15 is just a general rundown of all of our WIOLA grants that we have still active. The first page on 14, you can see all the ones from FY25. We still have some funds left from FY25. We are not going to run out of any, all of our funds are going to be used before they expire. You can see at the very bottom there, we do have that storm grant still listed there. That one on the left-hand side, it'll show you that that one ends in 2028, June of 2028. And then everything after that is just FY26. So anybody has any questions about how to read that or anything that you see on there, please let me know.
No one speaking up. So we're looking good. It's the best way to make a blanket statement. And
Yeah, we've got 2 months left. Our overall budget in all of our programs, we still have plenty to cut us through the rest of the year. And we budgeted for carryover into FY '27, so we have plenty to carry over, just as we wait for those planning numbers, to come into real numbers from the state. And, yeah, we're in good shape right now.
But to the rest of the group here with full board meeting, we had the finance meeting this morning at 10 o'clock. Donna shared that, and we've done a great job. So, it's kind of like a second review for me today. And Donna's being quiet over here, but, she reminded everyone, there's our chair for our finance committee. She's doing a great job. And she was all happy with the end result of our conversation this morning, pretty much. I guess you'd be quiet.
Absolutely.
Colin, if there's any more to add or?
That's all that I had.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Looking for a motion to approve the April, specifically the April financial report presented by Colin.
Make a motion. Aaron, second.
Thank you, Aaron. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Assuming there's no discussion, since we opened that up prior, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Colin. That motion moves forward. Okay. Wow, we're down to informational items. Do we need to add some more?
Basically, just put a message to see how it's.
Oh,
Just talk about it. That's all the thing I know. We need to get a microphone. Can we order a microphone?
It's up, the slides, go.
Oh,
I think we've got some stuff in here that's blocking the voice. I have that when I do other things.
That's my meeting. Ever mind.
They said, I think it's just me.
just in case that might help.
Micah, you're one of my checkpoints there. How is the voice, the sound for you? Pretty good?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty well.
Okay. All right, so,
Ellen said it's clear.
okay, just to reconfirm, the last action item was a approval of the April. And everybody that I'm aware of, no comments, that we move forward with that. Everybody good? Move forward with that. Now we've got the informational items and we're back to Colin and maybe some team here about our budget for the 2027 year coming up.
Yes, so, I don't have a whole lot to share about our budget just at this moment, since we do have, other than what I just showed you, we've got those grants still active. Our WIOA, planning numbers did come in from the state. They've estimated about 3.3 something $1 million for us, which is an increase from last year, a couple $100,000 across all the different programs. Once we do have more information, we will be able to roll out a more accurate budget, something for you to actually look at and see. Yeah, at this moment, we're just still waiting on that information.
Okay. The reason why it says copy pending, I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll be, like I talked about this morning in the finance committee meeting, I'm meeting with Bushman and Colin, on June 4th. We have our putting in Kentuckians first totals finally. So that was kind of one of the things that we were, waiting on as well, but then as quick as I made with Michael and Colin, then for our next meeting, we'll have more concrete numbers.
Any questions from the audience online or in the room? Okay. That we move forward to with Twain, Stacy, and Tiffany to talk about our strategic plan, rewrite. Tongue twisting.
Yeah, Stacy, you want me to start first or you want to go?
Well, do you want me to talk about the letter we got yesterday and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so, we had a little bit of a shakeup with the strategic planning. It started out really strong. We had, EKU doing the facilitation and held the first meeting with the DSP staff, and, that went really well. They gathered some really good raw data. Unfortunately, we found out probably, 2 days later, that EKU closed their facilitation department and let everybody in that department go. So, yay for Rowley. Rowley is working with them, helping them with rapid response, but the data that was gathered is now handed over to the person who is over, like, would have been over top of the department, not the leader of that department, but the head over that whole unit area. We've emailed her, Tiffany and I emailed her. She has followed up and said that we should have a report off of that data by close of business on Friday of this week. From there, we will proceed with I presume proceed with going with Stephanie and her team, because they will still be working in doing facilitation. It's just we will be contracting with them externally outside of EKU. EKU did say in their email to us, I believe, that they are voiding our contract upon our request because there's, technically no one to do it. So we will be still using those people. It just will be outside of EKU doing it. I think I captured everything, Tiff, did I?
Yep.
Okay.
That's about it.
Any questions about this?
EKU, is it just a change in philosophy, or
It's,
that's a big
That's
section of what they
it's a
do?
huge restructuring of the school itself. They are doing a lot to cut back on things.
Yeah. Needless to say, the department, Stephanie who was running the department was really shocked, because she said they were essentially a zero sum. They were no cost to the school. They funded themselves. So they were kind of surprised at the closing. And we find it a huge loss, because we've worked really well with them and they've done a great job. So, but we have no doubt that they are going to land on their feet. They're incredible folks to work with. So, but that's where we are with that. Technically, as of right now, we are still on schedule. It was just a little bit of a shakeup as far as getting everything rewritten and the presentation ready for the September joint meeting.
Is that when we're planning on having things finalized by September?
When you say finalized, they will have essentially a final report to present to the board for approval. The actual strategic plan rewrite will not be issued until January, because that's when it'll start kicking off.
Thought that September was a little quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
And
other
yeah,
questions?
September will be presenting with the board members essentially what has been come up in the report for suggested measures and objectives, and for you guys to put your input in and to either approve or make your own suggestions.
Okay. That sounds better than what I thought. So yes, thank you. Any questions about that? I stepped up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we got our direct service provider update. Jennifer, April.
In your report, you'll see April of 2026 customer report. I give one of these reports to Ted every month. And we'll go through some of the highlights. The big thing that I like to highlight is that I'm trying to compare numbers from the previous year. And so in April of 2025, we had enrolled 119 WIOA participants. And in April of 2026, we had 370. So we definitely increased substantial enrollment numbers since in the past 12 months. And then for the non-WIOA, the putting in Kentuckians first, we had a total of 453 enrollments, and additional to those WIOA numbers, and we had exited 126 to employment for that non-WIOA funding stream. We had 41 active work-based learning work experiences in April and 185 funded trainings. So funded tuition programs between the non-WIOA and the WIOA. And then we exited a total of 36 participants off our caseloads. Those are participants that found gained employment. So enrollment numbers strong, work-based learning numbers strong, and ITAs, which stands for individual training accounts. It's basically tuition assistance. So all of that's strong for April. And then underneath that, I always just put highlights and current initiatives. So as you heard Colin talk about the NDWG, the National Dislocated Worker Depot grant, we had enrolled 98 participants total for that grant, 20 for the Yokohama. So I know that Tiff and Rachel were on a call with DOL a couple weeks ago, and all was well with that. They had no concerns on the spending or enrollments on that. And then we have 6 enrolled for a storm grant. So that is special funding that we're connecting with the cities and the counties. So fiscal courts help offset the needs due to storm damage. So Tim sort of leads that effort with the county judges and the cities. But I can tell you that we've enrolled 6, and then we currently are working with Woodford County with the city of Versailles to help pay for 4 CDLs that's going to be kicked off in the next couple of weeks. But we've also worked with other counties like Powell and Estill, Nicholas, and Mercer. So we're getting through all of those 17 counties. The goal is before the grant ends that we've had about 17 in some capacity. But we work a lot with still the recovery population, so tailor-made, DBA, Revive are just some of the ones I've listed. But we also have all together recovery and digital. So we're touching recovery. We work very close with BCTC in the workforce solution department. We basically can follow them up and say, here's our need. Can you help us do a cohort? And Aaron's team's really good at helping us do whatever the need is. We have a pharmacy tech. We have a nurse aide. We've just finished up with them. So we do lots of initiatives with them. We also just wrapped up 3 CDLs for the county of Mercer County. They graduated in May. We wrapped up 3 forklift trainings. So we did in North South and Madison County. We did Estill, and we did 1 with the city of Lexington. So we did 3 cohorts of forklift over the past 2 months. And then we're fixing to start 9 with Antec in the Quick Start program for June. So lots of initiatives and lots of cohorts. And when Tiff became the director, she said that her vision, and it's the same as mine, we wanted to be in every 17 county doing some kind of cohort, whatever that need is in all 17 counties. So we've done a really good job at that. We know that there's still some counties that we want to touch. One is Anderson, for example, was the county that we didn't have as heavy as a presence, although we had enrollment numbers. But she's already working with the JAG program for the next program year. So her vision is far ahead of even ours on how we're going to enroll some youth people or youth participants in Anderson. So we'll be in all 17 counties every single month. But I'll list out the months for all of our outreach. I'll list some of our business service and job fairs. The pod usually touches on that. And then at the end, I always put success stories. And on this month, we had 8 success stories, but I know that the board always likes to see those success stories and like how we truly have made a difference in someone's life. But if y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
It's always the success stories and just the activities. It's great to see.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I did want to add one other thing. Hannah Gregory's daughter, we enrolled her. Her name is Caitlin Gregory. She's a participant with us. And we have worked with her for some time, and then in April, she started as a paid internship with the Winchester Sun. And so she's been in that role for about a month. But Hannah brought me in today, she has it here with her, but there's a whole book of articles and stories that Caitlin has already, written up for the Sun in Winchester. So she's doing great things. I mean, that's a success story that's not in this packet, but she'll probably do a video success story with them at some point for Stacy.
I think that needs to be September.
Yeah, that would be awesome for
Yes.
the full, the full board. Join. But, so she's got like a whole little scrapbook of articles that she's been working on. So it's just a true success of how we took someone and put them right where they needed to be, and now she's blossomed.
Yeah, and in, like, whenever they were talking to Katie, she wasn't quite sure, but that's what it's about, right? Especially with our young adults. So here's this that, you know, you might have a little interest in, but let's get connected so you can see, and she's absolutely thriving. So yeah.
Great. So yes, challenge for September video. Put on big screen.
Yeah, and she's not working, bring her, and she do an article, I come in to do an article.
I mean, that kind of works. You know. Yeah.
That's awesome. Any questions for Jennifer before we move on? I think it's great, and her, you know, just a plug for me and her working together, the 9 that she's got, and we've got other lists. I'll be communicating with my team to see if there's more, because we have more. The question is, do we fit with the category? But cool thing about a conversation Jennifer and I had while I'm traveling to another place, and she contacts me on the phone and says, we've got money to promote this program. Help me spend it, basically. And that, to an employer, hear something of that nature. Of course, we have this communication and we've known each other, but if an organization comes up to an employer and says, hey, I've got money to spend for your efforts, how can I spend it with you? That's great, you know. That's a success story and a statement to say.
Jennifer, can you share a little bit more with some of us that might not know about what that program in entails, the Quick Start program?
For the Quick Start program, it is electrical apprenticeship. So it is a 4-week, and Amtech starts that program once a year in the month of June. And it's strategically designed starting June to capture those high school seniors that are not wanting to go into necessarily a 2 or 4 year program, that they're just wanting to go into the trade. And so we go out to the ATCs, you know, starting in like March, April, and start recruiting guys in the electrical pathway that wants to do electrical apprenticeship. And John has a packet all ready for it that shows like what they'll make in year 1, what they'll make in year 2. So they have really good opportunities, and after 4 years, they can be a licensed electrician.
So it's a pre-apprenticeship program, 4 weeks. To get them into the registered apprenticeship program, it's a straight in and they're paid the whole time. Thing is, with the support, the few that we have, I don't have to pay them. And I'm getting some of my costs back for the training. So this is great.
And it's not just through their apprenticeship. So any employer can take advantage of federal workforce dollars that you've already paid in. Just put a little plug out there.
Yes.
Just put a little plug out there.
We do.
Yes.
Yes.
We absolutely love it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to have this relationship and know that, you know, not only one-to-one personal relationships, but that there's a group like us that's working to try to make these relationships better. That's a big deal. Yeah.
So, you know, hoping that funding stays sound. We hope that cut a little bit for next year, but the process of the outcome, I think, is going to be success stories and success stories and success stories. Thank you for that. On to Mr. Todd. I'm gonna give you very loud.
So this is, your back the report for April. You'll see, each month I capture all the in-person walk-ins we have across the three centers. The referral number that you see there is, our electronic referral form where individuals that are looking for services, either basic or, intensive services. So that number has steadily been over 250. It's just been a steady thing. Our program is getting, you know, the word is out, word of mouth. Our partners are referring folks in. It's just, are we gonna continually be able to serve all these folks? Because everybody wants, you know, the services that we're offering, which is a good problem to have. You'll see the events and the VR events that we did in the month of April. We've got a couple VR events, some hiring events in Madison County for the Department of Corrections, several job fairs at high schools and middle schools, and then a hiring event there at SEMO with Donna's group. We had one employer rapid response session that was just an initial meeting with Airmark. Their contract was ending with UK. Rolando and I met with them. It sounded like after this initial meeting, most of those employees were going to be absorbed by the new contractor. So fortunately, they didn't have to do a layoff. I know many of you probably pay attention to the news. Rolando has been working with Amy Glasscock at the city of Lexington to get us in the door with the Dade County Public Schools and the reductions in force that are going there. We're actually doing some rapid response sessions tomorrow with those employees, and then we're working on a virtual job fair to promote getting some opportunities in front of those folks. We're going to be putting it out into the student systems that we can get involved. And then also later in June, you saw the news, the administrative office of the courts has done a reduction in force of about 200, I think. We're going to be in Frankfurt working with them on June the 11th, I believe, doing some sessions for those affected employees. So not something that we like to do, but we're fortunate enough to be able to get in the doors and provide these rapid response services to folks. That way we can promote the resources that are out there available to them.
What is the total number for Dade County Public Schools?
It's a moving target, really, David. The number is 120 that we've been told. We won't know until we know. Last but not least on that report, each year in April, there's what's called National Library Week. So this is something that the Kentucky Department of Libraries and Archives kind of pushes out to the career centers and workforce groups. And just to say, we're offering a National Library Week. These libraries are interested. What can you do for them? Typically, you know, we do a lot more. The in-person job fair numbers have just not been there lately. So we used to go out every year and do in-person events and job fairs. Jennifer staff, luckily for us, you know, they're at the public libraries at least once a month anyway at each location. So we're always on site at the libraries. But Paul Sawyer Public Library and Dalton Bennett there reached out and wanted us to provide some take-home job fair information. So we stuffed 100 bags, delivered to the library, and they handed those out during that week, you know, just to have an option for people to come in, grab some information, take it with them and go. And we've done that on several occasions there at Paul Sawyer Library specifically. But that's my report. If you've got questions, we'd like to take.
Anybody?
But past Rolando, you guys talked about the Army Depot, how we are further down. Is that about what we've done?
We've not had any sessions since the end of March, early, is that right?
Yeah, our two contacts, Paulie and Lori both have been gone since that month. Maya's our contact now, she's part of their HR team. And other just simple questions from her, she hasn't reached out about any rapid responses.
Or either going to solve.
Yeah, I think it's kind of down to the tail end now.
Frankfurt, now did you said something before, so I didn't catch it.
Take home job fair bags.
The office of the courts.
Office of the courts, so they're, doing a reduction in force also. So it's not just.
What is that? Explain what office of the courts is.
It could be anybody who works in the court system. They didn't really give us job titles. It could be, a clerk that works in one of the offices.
This is like the state employee.
So the one thing that we talked about when we met with them was these are gonna be folks from all over the state. We're gonna meet with them in Frankfurt, but all of that number of people are not necessarily in Bluegrass. They could be from other workforce areas. So we're gonna go over with broad strokes, services that the career center's gonna offer.
Yeah, we're leading in on it, but it's statewide, it's not just us.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah, that's when, for sure, where, where the employment or unemployment's gonna be from.
it could be, I mean, I know they said they had some in far western Kentucky, some in eastern Kentucky when they met with us, so we're gonna go over the services that we offer here and also direct them to other workforce areas for services that they may need. So,
That's not good news for people. Are losing employment. Like you got to do. All right, we got other open discussion. I'll throw this one. I signed, that's what I signed today. It was $10 million.
Oh, it's the MOA. I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
You signed it too?
Yes, it's the basic MOA that we have to have an agreement with the state. Each local area has one, they put that raw number of $2 billion on there. It's never that much. Wouldn't that be lovely?
Right. I do the
Boy,
same.
we're doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, but, in order to get once, because we're, the, state has received the planning numbers, in order for the local areas to receive those, they have to have that contract in play. So the COCLEOs, the WIB chair, the director, and the executive director of the fiscal agent all have to sign off on it. Anytime that anything like that comes to you, it's already been read, reread, fussed about, and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so that's what it is. So, yeah. But on the open discussion, Ro, do you want to talk about the stand down?
We have to stand down.
Just how good it been?
Yeah, we got to stand down, what was it, the 20 or the
17.
somewhere, yeah. I forgot the date. People don't forgot the date, but anyways, we had our stand down, a couple weeks ago, here in the parking lot. It went great. Great participation from the vendors. I feel like we had more participation than we gathered because we were set up, but I feel like everybody can provide. So, but all in all, we had a great time. We were able to feed them, give backpacks. So thank you, really, it was all hands on deck. So thank you for everyone that participated, who had a part in it, from donations to setting up the donation piece, the grant, everything involved. I don't want to leave nobody out, but there was a lot of hands on deck. So I thank everyone that was involved. And we're looking at doing the exact same thing in the fall.
And one of the things, there was a gentleman who was already working with one of the depops, that came and was talking about some other issues. And the DBOP took them to the resources, and took them to additional resources. Everything got taken care of. The individual got a job. It is some of Katie's staff that the DBOP's here. So it's absolutely wonderful how it worked. It worked the way it's supposed to, you know?
That person.
What's the diva?
We need to do that acronym. And look, here's the bad thing right now. I'm home like, Katie, what does DBOP stand for?
Disabled Veterans Outreach Program.
There we go.
Disabled Veterans Outreach Program. I was trying to get unmuted.
I'm just letting kids and people on the spot when they're so used to.
Yeah.
That individual keeps talking about went from being to losing his home, to being unemployed, to really getting hit by all sorts of different things, to getting connected to somebody with housing, to getting a job, so forth. So it all happened one day.
Yeah.
So if he was the only one that came, it was pretty successful.
We're working on this for this. Yeah.
The backpack that you guys saw sitting around is an example of what we handed out.
I think Katie's covering it though. Katie?
Yes, ma'am. I had a little something that I wanted to share with you all about the event, and I was able to attend in person and was just blown away. What a tremendous display of what we do. I mean, kudos to the team there locally, and I know Rolando and Tiffany and Todd. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, but thank you for the opportunity to partner and be a part of it. I did have a little summary that Daryl Chase, he's the supervisor of the JVSG, or the Jobs for Veterans State Grant Program, where the DVOPs and the levers work. So we'll just throw all of the acronyms at you. But it's a continuation of what you had said. So it was a rescue effort, really, is what we had sort of coined the phrase. One of the local Wagner Pizer staff there, Jordan, recognized that one of the veterans was in pretty severe distress, and immediately rolled that veteran into case management for workforce assistance. And then she swiftly referred the veteran to the JVSG team, where the DVOP helped to triage the issue and was successfully able to connect that veteran with KDVA to secure $150 homeless veteran prevention grant, while coordinating with Mountain Comp for critical emergency housing support, rental assistance, and gas cards. We saved this collectively. This group saved this individual from eviction and all of the transportation barriers that so many of our folks face. So, I mean, and then Art there, who is the lever, he referred that individual to the Department of Corrections, and we've got a pretty secured promise of employment leave with them sometime in next month. So, I mean, all of that coordination in a parking lot at the Career Center. So my hat's off to each and every one of the people who were present that day and how they supported the event, because that's the impact. One person on the brink of homelessness, the team was collectively able to intervene and provide meaningful services. And when you are facing eviction and you're hungry, it's hard to talk about career services. So to be able to coordinate and get that individual some subsidies to help with eviction prevention, and now we can talk next steps. We can talk about the career. So, I mean, just my heartfelt gratitude to each and every person who helped make that happen, because it is truly impactful work.
It was a good day.
Yes. I would like you to let you tell us about this morning, about other people's.
Yes, and me and Rachel, we presented at NAWDP, which is the National Association of Workforce Development Professionals. We went there to speak about the Depot Grant, the National Dislocated Worker Grant. And naturally, I talk a whole lot to people standing in line. Where are you from? Why are you here? What do you do? There was a young lady from South Texas was like, I know I'd heard about a stand-down event happening in Kentucky, and I was like, that was up, right? And because the U.S. Department of Labor Veterans Affairs Director Rhonda Epps flew in from Washington just to see how everything was going, because it's been a while since anyone in Kentucky has gotten the federal stand-down money. Then I was talking to somebody else from Kansas who I heard a good event happened. That was us. And North Carolina, there was another state. The individual from Kansas is coming to talk about coming to also meet with someone on the 8th and 9th, but they've done reached out to see what other things that we're doing here. So I thought that was really, really good and exciting. When we presented, we talked about the National Dislocated Worker Grant, but there was also individuals in that group that asked about the stand down stuff. So we've shared our information and all that. So it's good things. It's good things. Yeah. Right. I know.
Yes, great.
In the fall. Yes. Yep. So let me know.
Hard to beat that story, man.
I know. That's good stuff.
Yes. Any other additional comments, confessions, complaints?
We can.
All right, well, with that, we'll look for a motion to adjourn. So moved. All in favor? Aye. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see everybody in September, right?